make loaf. Welcome to the Chickpea channel. Tricia here, and David from Living Tech is behind the camera as usual. It's a nice heavy loaf that doesn't taste like meat, but I actually think it tastes better. And I'm gonna admit up front, this is still an easy whole food recipe. The thing about it is that it takes a medium amount of time. So each step you'll find is super easy, but it's a little bit more investment than some of the other recipes that I've been making for you. But I think you'll find it worthwhile. It's a great thing to have in your back pocket if you want to make a nice heavy meal, festive even, because you can really dress it up. I'm going to try and show you that. You might want to thaw some frozen peas and put some butter and salt optional. That just makes it look a little more complete, and or gravy, and or mashed potatoes or cauliflower mashed potatoes, all of which I'll show you in a later video. I'm gonna start with a sweet potato. I'm gonna microwave the sweet potato, and then it's gonna go into the food processor with the other ingredients. This recipe calls for a medium sweet potato, so I got two different sweet potatoes to show you. This is a bonkers big sweet potato. They actually come even bigger than this, but that is not medium. In case you don't know sweet potatoes, that is large, so don't use that. I washed this just briefly under water, wiped it with a rough towel, so it's got most of the dirt off it. I'm not fussed about it because I'm gonna microwave it, and then I'm just gonna use the insides. The skin is really healthy, and if you can at all use the skin in a recipe, that's good, but this one, I'm gonna skip the skin, and it actually makes things a little bit faster for a recipe that's gonna be medium length anyway. So for the microwave, you just jab it with a fork a few times to let the steam come out while it's cooking. Some people will wrap this in paper towel before putting it in the microwave. I'm not fussed about that. I'm just gonna put it straight in the microwave for 5 minutes, at which point it should be squishy, very hot, so wait a second, but it's squishy. If it's not, then just keep microwaving it on high until it's squishy for 30-second intervals. Carrot, celery, and onion, which is a traditional mixture of aromatics. I'm gonna skip the carrot because those are not popular around here. I pre-washed the celery, so wash the celery. You'll see it's dirty when you get it, in case you don't know about celery. Now we're going to put the aromatics into the frying pan at medium-high. The aromatics are ready now, so I'm going to put in a can of drained and rinsed cannelli beans, any kind of white bean. And mash them. Just not over mash, enough to get some of their taste out from the middle. Now I can turn off the stove. The sweet potato is cooling in the background. The aromatics with the mashed white beans are waiting on the stove, cooling down a little bit too. And now we're gonna put a few things into the food processor. I'm going to put some extra firm tofu, break it up a little bit and give the processor a little bit of help, and it'll be more balanced to start with. 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. One thing about tomato paste, you don't tend to go through it that quickly on the one hand. On the other hand, it doesn't last that long. So if you are unlike me and you will go through it, it's fine in the fridge for 5 to 7 days. It's tomato paste, remember though, not tomato sauce, not the same thing. So what I do is I take an ice cube tray and freeze it, about a tablespoon in each ice cube, lay it flat. Once they're frozen, I just pop them into a bag so they take a lot less room. Over time, the water separates a little bit in that frozen version, but you're using it in recipes that it's not like you're putting the tomato paste on a cracker and it has to taste perfect. So it's fine to just take one of those ice cubes. You know it's a tablespoon and you can use that. Thaw it first though. 1 tablespoon of whole grain mustard. Basically, we're going to put everything in up until the walnuts, so including the nutritional yeast. So you can just start throwing everything in. I pre-mixed all the spices that I want to use in there. They're listed in the recipe that's under the video. Sage, thyme, dried rosemary, salt, pepper, and smoked paprika. That's different from regular paprika. You want smoked paprika. 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. And I need a 1/4 cup of chopped parsley. I pre-washed this. I think you can see I left it tied up at the base, and then I washed it just by submerging it, jiggling it around. So, and then I just dried it off and left it out to dry for a little while. You could wrap this in a little paper towel, put it in a bag, sort of a little bit open, and keep any leftover in the fridge. I tend to chop all that I want, like as much as I can get off of it for myself, and freeze the rest, which is also to tell you that if you have frozen your parsley and you're making this, you could use frozen parsley in this case. You don't want to use frozen parsley if you're, because it looks different, it goes dark. Obviously it doesn't look fresh. You don't want to use it for something, in a salad or decorating something on a plate. But to put in here right now, you could use a 1/4 cup of frozen parsley. I happen to have fresh, so I'm going to take a 1/4 cup of this. And I'm going to put it aside, but you can know in the background that I'll be freezing the rest for later. That's about a 1/4 cup. I'll measure it if it will make people happy. Well, let's see. It's a packed 1/4 cup. The sweet potato is hopefully cool, so I'm going to add that as well in the same step. We'll scrape this into the food processor, but leave the skin out. Here we go. We're going to make it smooth. So I'm going to scrape it down. It's doing more at the bottom than the top. You don't want that. Looks smooth to me. Show you. Okay, now I'm going to add the walnuts. That's a 1/2 cup of walnuts. You'll see those add a nice texture, but only process for a little bit because you don't want them to be smooth. Okay, that'll be good. So now you need a big bowl because we're going to put the whole thing together, and that means the vegetables from the stove, the oatmeal that's still on the list of ingredients, and all of this stuff. This is pretty dense, so I switched to my stove spatula. I'm going to turn the stove on to 375. I'm finished mixing. It looks like a pale version of a meatloaf you might have seen before. So now I'm going to put it all in the pan and then shape it into something that looks like a meatloaf. That is admittedly a big meatloaf. I could have made it taller. Well, you can make it any shape, obviously. This is the shape I like. I'm going to put it in the oven at 375 for 30 minutes, like this. When I put this in, I'm also going to put in some of the slivered almonds that I want to put on my salad. The ideal temperature for toasting nuts is 300, 350 for 7 to 10 minutes. You have to watch them. Also remember that nuts have quite an after cook. So even if they look, you can't taste right away that they're done. And they might look not quite done, but you don't want them to overcook. You just let them cool in the tray and that takes care of the after cook. Anyway, when they come out, they should kind of be soft and squishy a little bit soft and squishy when you eat them. Okay, so those are going to go in, because it's 375, I'm only going to put them in for 5 minutes and then take them out ahead of the loaf, which is going in for 30 minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 40 minutes. So I've covered the loaf with tinfoil after the 30-minute initial baking time at 375. Now it's gone back in for 30 to 40 minutes. I'm guessing 40, so I'm going to do 40 minutes because other times I've put it for 30 and I've just had to keep adding time on. So I'm going to say 40. 40 minutes is up since I put the tinfoil on the loaf and put it back in the oven. So let's get it out. Hopefully it looks perfect. That's what it's supposed to look like. It's out of the oven. I think it's perfect. I tested it for firmness. Now I just let it cool on the baking tray for 10 minutes, and then we're gonna put it on a serving dish. Well, we're all done making our not meatloaf. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching the Chickpea channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and sign up for notifications. Thank you.